It's the Dog Walk Chronicles. I haven't finished the readings of the saints. Went to Mass yesterday. The readings, reading about the saints, the readings of the Mass, I should have looked it up. First reading is about Job, is from the book of Job, and God is chastising Job. Okay, why is this? Somebody's moving stuff around here, and that doesn't make sense. No one comes out here. It looks like something's moved. God allows these tragedies, all these tragedies to happen to Job, who was a rich man, who loves God, has a big family, has livestock, has land, a wife, I believe, and everybody dies, and his livestock is taken, his land, he gets some kind of affliction, maybe boils, and his friends say, what did you do to sin? How did you sin that God is turning his back on you? Because that's how the people thought. What is it? How can a rich man, it's harder for a rich person to get to heaven, somewhere we read, than a camel to get through the eye of a needle. Because they thought that you had to be rich. If you were rich, then God was giving you favor, and that's because you were doing what you're supposed to do. He was blessing you. But I've said this before, you can live your whole life in suffering, 99 years of nothing but suffering. Nothing went right in your life. But if you end up in heaven, that 99 years means nothing. That means nothing. You'll be so grateful. Okay, there's a lot of raspberries. See, if you leave raspberries alone, they grow. I should have pruned them a little so I could get into there easier. I may have to. But my figs, or our Dora's figs, whatever, not working. Come on, Tubbs. If you wouldn't matter, 99 years of suffering won't matter to eternity of being with God. So, Job's suffering, and there's a lot of water metaphor. Where were you, Job, when I told the water where to stop, where I shut the door on the waves and allowed them to go only so far? So there's land, then there's water, and there's a separation. Then in the Psalms, we hear another, I forget what it was, but it's something about water, about the calming of the storms. Watch it, that's poison ivy. Get your nose at it. That's poison ivy, fool. Hey. That's the psalm, and then we hear in the gospel, I believe it's Mark, around chapter 4, 3 or 4, I think it's Mark, where Jesus says, let's get in the boat and go across. Come on, Toby. Jesus says, let's get in the boat and go across the water. The storm comes up, Jesus sleeps in the stern, water's coming in the boat, the wind, the waves, the boat is sinking, and Jesus is asleep. And the apostles say, do you not care that wake up, we're gonna die here. And Jesus says, oh, you have so little faith. And he tells the wind, quiet, tells the waves, be still, and everything is calm. And they look at each other and go, who is this that even the wind and the sea obey him? Well, it's God. It's Jesus. It's God. That's who. And Jesus kind of says, still don't get it. Still don't get it. Jesus knows he's going to the cross. He knows he's not destined to die in a boat. That's not how this is going to play out, how God's plan is. And so I guess he trusts that this is not his time. And the apostles don't know that. So let's remember to trust in God. God has a plan. Even the bad things are part of God's plan. And let's stay close to God so when these things happen, we can, when the storms come in our lives, we're ready. We have a foundation of being close to God, and so we can sleep in the boat. We can rest in His arms, knowing that. What's the worst case scenario? We die right now, but if we are with God now, then we'll be with God in heaven. So, I mean, nobody wants to die. But, I mean, if you have God, if you're in communion with God, then your worst case scenario is you die. or on earth, your worst case scenario would be you die. And then you go to heaven. So, I mean, there's a lot worse end scenarios than heaven. So let's pray for the country, for a conversion to Catholicism. Let's ask the saints to pray for us and pray for the souls in purgatory.